Let's kick it. Ice, ice, baby. Hi, fans. Welcome to this latest edition of Inside the Igloo, where we bring you an inside look of the Jacksonville Icemen hockey team. And kind of the theme we've been going with lately is unveiling the newest addition to the Jacksonville Icemen hockey team for the upcoming 2020-2021 season. And we'll be unveiling our latest signee here in just a moment. But again, do appreciate everybody tuning into the program here. And once again, we're happy to people are following it and getting behind the segment here. So again, we appreciate your viewership, and we're happy to bring you all the latest news. And of course, we've been giving you some of the latest players that have been added. Of course, we had Jacob Cederholm last week, returning player to the team. Well, we're going to have another returning player here to unveil in just a moment. And it's a player I think that everyone's going to be excited about. It's a player that people are familiar with. So without further ado, as we get the drum rolls going, go ahead and unveil yourself.
Hey, Iceman fans, Duval! I'm back. I'm super excited.
There it is. Wasty Rabbit, everybody. And of course, welcome, Waste. It's great to see you. I know everyone's probably just so amped up right now to see your face here on the screen. How have things been going with you? And, what's up? It's great to see you.
No, I think everybody's excited, but not as excited as myself. Third season back with the Icemen. It's home. I left a couple times, but I always come back, and now I'm here for good. But everything's good. I'm excited. My family's excited. I'm glad that we get the opportunity to come back to Jacksonville.
That's great. Well, I know we're excited to have you back. You just mean so much to this team, not only from a leadership standpoint, but obviously what you perform on the ice and a production standpoint. And of course, the fans just have really just fallen in love with you over the last couple of years. So obviously, I guess you say you love it here. It's a second home. I guess that made it all the more easier for you to sign on again here this year.
Yeah, there was no brainer. When I talked to Smurf, even before COVID hit and I came back, I said that I'm not going anywhere. If you guys want me, I'm here. And we agreed. And then so when COVID hit and the season kind of fell short, there's a pause, and I just asked him, "Hey, are we still ready to rock?" And he said, "Of course. Like we're a team, we're a family, and that's most important." I talked with Bob and obviously Andy, the great ownership, and obviously we're turning into a family, and I think that's important for a franchise to go in that direction, and that's how you end up winning championships. That's eventually that's why I re-signed, is to win a championship in Jacksonville.
Well, you look at your career, Wace, and you've been around the world of hockey just for so long now, a veteran guy in the game, and when you look at how things ended last year with the COVID-19 pandemic kind of cutting the season short, out of all the things that's happened, that's got to be one of the most bizarre situations where just abruptly the hockey life just kind of ends, let's say.
Yeah, it was so bizarre. Before I came back after the Christmas break, we were driving back, and you kind of hear little things. Like I'm a big news and current events, and you hear about what was going on in China, and you never think it's going to hit you, and then it does. So nobody was prepared for it, but it didn't kind of suck. It really sucked because we were on a roll. You could feel it in the room. You could feel it in the city when you walk around. Like people are coming up to you and you recognize you, and are you guys going to make playoffs? So that just adds to the momentum, and then it just stopped quick, right? You're dead in your tracks. But you had no control over it, and I'm just glad that everybody's safe and healthy. And obviously, when it's time to return to our normal life, we'll be not only the players, but I feel like the fans are going to be super excited, and then we'll appreciate hockey that much more.
When you look at how things were ending last year, obviously the team the second half of the year was a different team than it was first half of the year. Younger guys started to get things together. I know it had to be a little disappointing for everybody in that room, knowing that the season was going to get cut short, knowing that you guys were certainly in position to clinch a playoff spot. You guys were definitely playing your best hockey there in the last couple of months of the year.
Yeah, when I returned, obviously you could see, especially for the first year guys, around December, January, where they really find their I guess you call it their where they feel good. And you look at guys like Adam Dowda, who was coming around, who was scoring some big goals for us. Luke Shiplow, Craig Martin. You see these guys that, my line mate Brendan Warren was great all year, but I'm just talking about the guys that we could see they're finding their feet, and it's about that time. And then once they figured out that like I can do this. They trusted the system, they trusted themselves, and that it's pro hockey, and you got to respect this league. It may not be the NHL, the American Hockey League, but they figured out what it is to be a pro, and you can see in their practice habits, which I think is the most important, because you have a good practice habit, you're doing things correctly in practice, it relates to the game. You're thinking less on the game, you're more reacting. So I think that was important, and I'm really excited to see what they bring this coming season. Obviously, I don't want to be a big part of that, but I'm really excited to see the growth that they're going to bring into this coming season.
Yeah, you were just talking about some of those younger guys. I guess one of the best things about this league for me is watching the games and kind of analyzing them a little bit, is the fact that you can see the guys maybe make a move later in the year that they didn't early in the year. You could see that confidence start to grow. It's like, oh, he wouldn't have done that in October or November, but he's doing it now. Those types of things. It is great to see these guys. And when you came to such a young team, when you came back there halfway point of last season, did some of the guys lean on you a little bit, or did you just kind of take that role yourself to kind of lead them along a little bit?
No, when I came back, I mean, it's always tough in the dressing room when you're going through like a tough skid. So I think when I came, I mean, I like to have a relationship with every guy on the team, even if it's I'm a big prankster. They still don't get my sarcasm. They don't know if I'm joking or not. Like, that's what I like. I like to keep them guessing because it makes them think. But once they do get my sarcasm, they either think this guy's a terrible guy, but then they realize a little later, like, oh, he's actually really funny. But I like to, even with Brennan, he's my roommate on the road. Quiet kid, awesome, really reserved, wants to be a player. And we got a good relationship. I text him all the time in the summertime. I give him a razzing every once a week. But you look at when you walk into a room when it's having a tough period, is that you got to take a step back. And hockey's supposed to be fun, Hockey's fun when you're winning, but you got to earn those wins. You got to come to practice, like I said, and you got to put in the work. And then when it's a good time and you're winning, you're rolling, then you appreciate the good times. But you got to keep that even keel where you have to keep the same, approach to the game. And it's a long season. So you like I said, there's going to be times where you're going to be on the bus and you scored 3 goals. You're so excited. And the next night you're down 4-0 before you take your second. So like it's that, and it's the mental grind, and enjoy the game. Enjoy because it doesn't last very long. And I can say that now because I'm at the end of my career. But you come in and you just listen, trust your teammates, trust the coaching staff, trust every little thing, and that's the only way you win. Because if you don't have trust in each other, then you go out there 50% or 75%. And I think that's most important, is that we're coming into next year. Guys don't have that. The second year guys don't have that excuse anymore. They know what it takes to win, and I feel they're going to do it.
You're talking about developing that bond, that relationship with all the guys in the room. And, we had Garrett Hunt, I think, on our first segment of Inside the Igloo. And we asked him the question, some of his, what are some of your pregame rituals and stuff. And, he kind of said, his things. But then he said, let me tell you about Wasey. Guy, all right? This guy likes to get everybody off their ritual and off their routine. So, what's your response to that? I know Garrett kind of called you out a little bit. Of course, I know you guys go way back, but got some good laughs out of the group for sure.
Yeah, Hunty has 2 mouths and 1 ear. He listens less than he talks more. So I don't know if he was really going, but he's hopped up on 5 monsters. I don't understand how he could see what I was doing. No, but obviously, like I approach the game, but I approach it with a smile. There's a serious smile, There's all right, when it's time to work, let's work. But also, like I'll just question the guys on what's going on. Like Smurf and Jeff will have what's up on the board for power play and penalty kill, and I'll just kind of joke around with them. But I'll quiz them. So if they're wrong, I'll make sure that the room knows it, so they go up there and look at it. But even like we'll play 2-touch, we'll have some fun, and I'm usually the first guy at the rink, so I'm on my second coffee by the time guys get to the room. So I'm already kind of amped up when guys are just waking up from their nap. So I think that might be part of it. But I mean, I love being at the rink. I love the camaraderie. I love the game before. Like, you can feel the anticipation, the nervousness. And I feel like, just kind of let the guys smile, let them enjoy it. And when Jason comes in, that it's work time, and that once that clock starts ticking before warm-ups, it's time to get your mind into it if it's not already. But approach the game with a smile, approach it with some seriousness, and I mean, that's kind of one of the things, my philosophies is that helped me with my anxiety before games, and hopefully that helps some of the younger guys.
Well, so you look at, I mean, your career. I mean, you had lengthy, stint there in the American Hockey League, and here with Providence. I can remember watching you. Saw a few games that you played in, in Providence there as well when I was working for the Lewiston Maniacs. But I just looking at your career, you've played there. You've played over in just about everywhere in Europe. I mean,
Basically,
Norway, Italy, Croatia, like Austria. I mean, it goes on. You've even played in Japan. I mean, that's the one thing about this game. I mean, it's taking you, you've gone to places you probably wouldn't normally go to. And the game is taking you to all these places. And I think it's kind of one of the unique things about this job. And you also look at, the road games that you visit in all these places. So you've seen a lot of the world, but of all the places you've played, over there in Europe and overseas, what place kind of struck you the most? What was kind of your favorite spots?
well, I think New England, like you said, with Providence, I was there for 4 years. Well, 5 with my I was being drafted there and spending some training camps, and then having to go back to junior. But Providence was a great time. I think because I was younger in my career, that it was a great place because you got the NHL exposure because Boston was so close, and then just the tradition around town with Brown University, that Providence College. So we got to walk around campus and kind of see. I never got to do the college things as a major junior, but just to see that was pretty cool. Get to go to some basketball games, some football games, and then the Patriots games. But Norway was good. Japan was really different. That was the most culture shock I've ever got in my life. Just where I lived was northern Hokkaido, and there was no English, there was no tourism. So if I'm going to I'm reading the menu and it might as well be from like I might as well just have my eyes closed. It's just pointing at what I'm going to pick. But
you're hoping there's pictures and stuff, right?
Yeah,
that looks good.
This sounds good. Yeah, I'll get that. This looks good.
Yeah.
No, but Jacksonville and Providence are probably my two favorite. I mean, I keep coming back. The arena is awesome. The dressing room, the fans. There's nothing like when you have that momentum swinging. You can hear the fans, and I've obviously talked to guys from around the league that they come in to visit now that they've experienced Jacksonville, because we were pretty new the first 2 years, and now you see Jacksonville's kind of becoming a hot spot where players want to come now. Not only for obviously the weather. The weather's nice. Everybody knows the beaches, the weather, but the hockey and the fans, that's what makes it. What brings players, and that's what brings players like myself back. Guys are coming back there. Where do we sign? You can't sign quick enough, And I think that's important because we do such a great job of bringing the fans in and giving. Jason always has a competitive team, a hard-nosed team. We may not win every home game, but we're going to be right in it. And fans can't say that we didn't try or we didn't have put out an effort, and that's the most important. Is that we. And then after that, again, I'll go back to the beaches. Ashley, she loves taking our dog to the beaches, and we just got a new puppy too, so we'll be bringing Charlie down as well as a German Shepherd.
Oh, nice.
He's eating everything here. You can come down and eat everything in Florida right now, so I'm excited to go back.
Yeah, without question. And you talk about it, it's really becoming a hot spot for hockey. Jacksonville. I know the team recently just won the Jack's Best Awards for Best Sports Team in Jacksonville. Not too shabby at all. I mean, and that's all because of the popularity. It's growing. You can feel the energy, and I think it's only going to get better as we progress here. And when you look at this year's team, Lacey, what are your thoughts so far on the moves the team's made? We still got some other signings that I know are in the works. I know we're in a little bit of a waiting game process with some other guys with the timelines of everything starting back up, but other veterans and the guy that you played against, Nathan Perkovich and all that. We got a good core coming back and some new guys. What are your thoughts so far on the moves and how's it looking moving forward?
First and foremost, I think just the guys returning, the second-year guys, and obviously like Cedar Holmes coming back. He was on an American League deal. It just shows like American League guys are looking for Jacksonville as a spot, and Jacob is obviously one of those guys. And I think it's an opportunity for him to take a step in his development. Like the Dowdas and Shiplow and Martys and McKinnons. I think it's important that those guys take that step. And obviously Nathan coming in, he's such a large human being, but he's not only large on the ice, but he's large in the room. And I think that's important. He wants to win. He's been around the world. He's played in the KHL, Austria, American Hockey League. So he knows what it takes to get to that level. And even at 35, he still wants to get better. I talked to him a bit in the summertime, and he was I mean, he's in Florida and it's hard to find ice, but he's finding it. And that goes to show that even at that age, it's still a developmental league, and you never stop learning. And they think he's a guy that will be huge in the room, and he's a funny guy. He smiles too, but you can tell you need that older presence in the room where when he talks, guys will listen. I think that's important.
I know you mentioned you're here to do everything you can to help win a championship and bring one here to Jacksonville. I know you won a Memorial Cup with Vancouver, right? Is that correct? Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a huge deal there in Canada, and you to win there at the major junior level. Have you won any other championships in your?
One in Norway, and then I've lost a lot of finals, and those are heartbreaking. I don't want to bring it up. Yeah. I don't know how you got to bring it up. No, but
we'll move on then.
Yeah. Oh, but I think just like you talk about championships, and I think it's time for our franchise to start talking that, because when you talk about it enough, then you get that mental mind frame that losing is not acceptable. And you look at like even in the NHL bubble, it's such a like the teams that are in that the Final Four you never expect, like the Islanders and Dallas. I mean, you would think the Bruins or the Capitals would be in there, but you look at you find the right nucleus, you find the right players that will work for each other, and anything can happen, especially in playoffs. You just got to get to that point, and that's what the regular season does, is to kind of form that team so when you are playoff time, you're ready and you're chomping at the bit. And I'm really excited that we have a nucleus that's coming back, and I think the fans will be excited for I think it's one of the best teams we're going to be able to have for sure, if not in the league, in our division for sure.
Well, let's talk a little about what you've been doing here since since everything's happened. I mean, so much has happened since March, since we really last saw you. And I know some guys have handled this extended summer differently, but you seem to be busy. Every time I check up on you, you got yourself into something. So what have you been up to?
Well, so since COVID hit, there hasn't really been much going on. And then I started doing some online work, and like Ashley, who's a big role model in the First Nations Indigenous community here in Canada, North America, and Indigenous Sports Council of Alberta, which is pretty big here in Alberta for the Indigenous youth and sports and wellness. They're trying to raise some funds, especially with COVID right now. It's affecting with just mental health. They reached out to me, to her, to be a physical ambassador. She's really big with her workouts right now, and it's important. And then they were looking for some more, I guess, some other ambassadors, and they said, well, why not Wasey, the hockey ambassador? So I was so honored when they asked. I've been doing some camps. I've been doing a lot of starting my own program here with the WR Power Skill, that just kind of giving back to the youth now, and I'm doing some camps. But I did some online work. Now I'm getting, now COVID's lifted, I'm allowed to do some on ice stuff, and I'm going to some First Nations communities around Alberta, doing my camps. Obviously COVID, social distancing protocols, but still just getting the kids out there. And I think it's important that right now for kids, just to get, even if it's an hour, to get away from when they go to schools, if they're wearing masks or whatever, that they can come on the ice and just be kids for an hour and get that smile, because hockey's fun. It's just get that mental break. And with ISCA, I think just the funding and some of the reserves around Canada, and then especially in Alberta, that there isn't a lot of access to sports, especially hockey. Hockey in Canada is very elitist now. It's so expensive, not only to rent ice, but for the equipment, the sticks, traveling. A lot of teams are travel teams, so a lot of families just can't afford it. So what we're trying to do is get that awareness out there, and hopefully we'll get some funding from our government and other communities, or if there's something like that. But we just did a video, myself, Ashley, a couple other ambassadors, and it's really taken off. And I think I'm not allowed to announce anything yet or say anything, but it's going to be some big companies and names, and obviously the government of Canada are going to be helping within the next year or so. And then it'll just give some not even hockey, but just we have a family fitness challenge where you post stuff on their Facebook page, it's just going for walks or throwing the ball around with your family. And then there's actual workout challenges and they win awesome prizes. So it just allows everyone in Alberta from different reserves, different spots, to feel like they're together finally again, but they're obviously separated. But it's allowed everybody to feel engaged, from elders down to toddlers, that they feel like they're part of it. And Jake's done a great job, and I'm just so proud to be a part of that. And any way I can help. And I think right now in my career and in my life, it's time for me to start giving back, especially to my community, because I've I've lived such a blessed life. I've got to travel some great places and play with some amazing people, and to get to tell my stories now to some of the younger generation, that hopefully they can see themselves in me, not only doing these things, but hopefully they could play in the NHL if that's what they want to do.
Wow, that's great. That's really awesome to hear. And I know you've been getting, I mean, when you look at everything and just articles I've read and the social media exposure, it's been drawing a lot of attention to it here. I know you've been pretty active in a lot of the interviews, people coming to you to be part of this. You know, how did all that get going? I mean, because it really kind of came quick.
Yeah,
And
I think
next thing you know, you're pretty much in every article in the hockey world.
yeah. Well, I think with what was happening in the United States, I mean,
Yeah.
that's separate from, but with the movement going on and just the equality and the inequality of, I mean, what I know is the sports world. So um, in Canada, the Indigenous people were treated were not treated fairly as well, and especially I just wanted to share some of my experiences in the hockey world because that's what I know. And a lot of people didn't have a lot of voices or the platforms that I have. I mean, I'm not famous. I only have a couple followers on Twitter, but it blew up, and I got some like Pierre LeBron from the Athletic. I was on Sportsnet here, a lot of podcasts, and just kind of telling my story of that. I mean, at the end of the day, shouldn't matter about your skin color or where you come from. It's about the relationships you bring to people when you first meet them. It's and how you leave, and that's respect. It doesn't matter if you come from Canada, United States, if you're brown, yellow, white, pink, orange, or blue. You know that at the end of the day, it's how you leave people. They're feeling that, okay, he was a good person. You know, he respected me. You respect each other, and at the end of the day, that's what sports is. For me, when sports, it's to bring people together, it's to bring community together, it's to celebrate each other, it's to enjoy. Obviously, there's some competitiveness, but in sports and in community, that's most important. So if there is like with the Washington Redskins, I know I ruffled a lot of feathers, but if for my people that we were deferred Redskins, and that's a very derogatory term. So again, bringing back to sports, that's the number one thing is, okay, if it has one group of people left out or felt like we were disrespected, then that's not what sporting is about at the end of the day. Maybe professional sport, maybe for money, but you're bringing all these people from different backgrounds to cheer on one community. But if they're leaving one of those community outs, then it's not correct, you know. And just some of like, and then it goes back to what I went through as a kid, just being picked on or being disrespected because of who I am, where I come from, and I'm a very proud person. Like from day one, my grandparents always instilled that in me, and I just want my younger groups here in Canada, the Indigenous and not only Indigenous, but be proud of who you are and where you come from. Hold your head high and just respect each other, and that's at the end of the day, that's all you can do, and that's all you can control, and that's what I wanted to my message out to the world when I tweeted and when I was in my interviews and the podcast.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was great stuff. I know that article Pierre wrote, it was really good. And I just reading some of it, I was just like, oh my goodness. But yeah, for those that hadn't read it, look it up there. It was a good read though. And, it's unfortunate some of the things that you had to deal with though, Waste. But when you look at when you're back home, there's things outside of hockey that you get involved with there. I don't know if some people know it, but there's the rodeo thing that happens. Is that still going on right now with everything? And tell some of the people what we're even talking about.
Yeah, so my family's a big rodeo family. My mom barrel raced; she was a high school champion. My dad goes to the Indian National Finals rodeo in Las Vegas every year. I can't say his age because he'll get mad, but he's older.
Fair enough.
Him to accomplish that is such a big thing. He's a team roper. My grandpa, my uncles, they all rodeoed. And the last couple of years, I really got back. Like growing up, I was around horses. I just didn't really get into it. Like I steer rode for a bit and then threw the rope around a little bit. But the last couple of years, I've been trying to get really competitive again with it. And that's been a big passion of mine. But since COVID hit, we're in Edmonton right now. And my parents are down in Calgary. And I haven't been around the ranch much, so there is no rodeos this summer just because of COVID. But I got back. I got to go on the horse a couple of times. It's very therapeutic for me just to kind of get away, and that's what I do at the end of the season. I'll decompress with my parents, and then I get on the horse and just even riding around. It's such just to be on that animal, how much power they have and grace and respect that you have to show for them, and So no horses this year. So we got a little puppy named Charlie, and he's basically going to be the size of a horse when he's full grown.
Yeah, if he's a German Shepherd, yeah, he's big there. Well, great. Well, Waste, when you look at the season here, I mean, obviously it's kind of a waiting game at the moment, but and you talked about, you're excited about the season and coming, and moving forward here and coming in as a player, but you said you're kind of getting towards the end of your career. Do you have any ideas what's going to be life after your playing days?
Yeah. So basically I want to coach. I talked to Jason about that. Obviously he's helped me just with the video part and just like I always pick his brain. Whether I'm coaching in Jacksonville, hopefully when I retire, or somewhere else, that's what I would like to do. I'm also getting into I just started a company, WR20 Power Skill. It kind of took off the last couple of years, but now I'm actually doing it. I've got a good group here in Edmonton. It's power skating, skill work. So I do that in the summertime. I'm doing a lot of camps. So we have a lot of major preps, some junior A kids, some Western League kids, and now I got a couple pro guys I'm skating with and just getting them prepped for their season. And that's what I want to do is work, obviously, if not coaching, but in development of players. I obviously want to get to the NHL level of doing that, but that's a lot of work, and I'm willing to put in that work. It's so fascinating to me. For me, it's not work, it's a passion. And I love working with our younger kids that come to Jacksonville, and that's something I want to do. And just like I said, just giving back and just getting my knowledge back. It's like I said, it's a passion for me, and hopefully I'll be able to do that when I do end up hanging up the skates. And Ashley says Yager played till he was 45, so I guess I can play till I'm 45.
It can be done. He's living proof of that, I'll tell you. But that's good stuff. That means you got another 12 years or so?
I won't reveal my age. You can look it up, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm throwing it out there. All right. Well, listen, Waste, before I let you go, obviously we had some things for the fans to bid on when we announced Jacob's Cedar Home. We had Jacob's favorite things basket. So we're doing something similar for the fans here right now. It's available. We got something. We're going to call it a welcome back Wasey auction. All right. We got some cool stuff in there as well. We've got a framed photo. As well as there's going to be a private meet and greet with you. You didn't know about that. That's happening for sure. Not to mention, I believe there's a jersey in there as well. So a lot of cool stuff. Check out our social media platforms. It's up there. You can get the link. And the auction, I believe, goes until the 17th at 6 p.m. So again, you got a couple days to get your bids in on that. But it's our welcome back, Wasey. Auction and get some really good swag there as well, and you'll have an opportunity to meet the man on the screen right here in Wasey Rabbit. Well, listen, Wasey, we're so excited to have you back. I mean, not only from what you bring on the ice, but just as you talked here in this interview with you giving back. That's just such a great character thing of you to. That's I know that's always something that's genuine for you, and the city of Jacksonville and wherever you go is going to be better for that. So. We're excited, and we just want to get this thing going.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I just want to say thank you to all the fans. Obviously, it's such a tough year and tough time period, but when we're ready to go, we'll be playing for you guys, and obviously the city of Jacksonville is close to my heart and close to my family's heart. So I'm excited to see everybody, and hopefully everybody's staying safe out there.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that is Wasey Rabbit joining us here on this edition of Inside the Igloo. He's back, folks. So again, we're excited for the upcoming year here and still more signings to come ahead. If you're interested in getting some season ticket membership packages, we got a package that'll fit your budget and your schedule. You can visit jacksiceman.com or jacksonvilleiceman.com or give our office there a call as well. Again, we've got a lot coming up. Again, keep it locked. Keep following our social media channels with the latest up-to-date news. And, of course, this segment as well that will feature future players that'll be signing on board here for the upcoming 2020-2021 season. Again, for Wasey Rabbit, I'm Alex Reed for this Inside the Igloo edition. We'll see you next time.
Let's kick it.